Hello friend, so today I'm going to explain about JAX RS. So first video we almost complete up to here. So first I explain about JAX RS and after that I will move about JAX WS and this other WS property like SOA, architecture, SOAP, WSTL kind of thing. So here I have a few examples. I created a few examples. I explain about that like a JAX RS first examples and after that Jersey RS examples, annotation based. We could also explain about how we can download the file and how upload the file, and we will go through that to mini create, update, read and delete kind of thing, so we can see that how we can utilize it. So exactly what we are going to do here in JAX RS first example. So we can create a JAX RS example by using a Jersey implementation. To do so, you need to load a Jersey jar file or use a Maven framework. So I'm going to explain that both the way. So here this is a first example. Here we have the all library file. So you could download all the library file like this, all the library file you have to download, and when you create this like right click and create a new web project, you have to create a dynamic web project. And yeah, so here what you have to do, once the project just for test project is created, here web inf library, you have to put all the jar file. So you could download the jar file in the Google itself, or you could go through that what the jar file I am using, you can utilize it. If you are thinking this is a little bit difficult, so you could directly utilize the Maven related thing, and through that you can utilize this thing. So here the RESTful, I just quickly go through that what jar file be using. So here few jar file, you go through that version. So you can also download one by one all the jar files in the Maven repository itself. I can directly put here. So if you go to the manually, so at least you can understand about that what exactly each and each jar file is required. Even if you not download a jar file, you just run the project with the code, then you can see in the console that that will be complain about that some jar file is not available. So that time also you can utilize that, download that jar file in the Maven repository, and you can means Maven repository, you just like that Jersey JAX WS here, like JAX RS jar, you just type a Maven repository, and here we can go to this repository, we can download this jar file directly. So because we have to select this version and we can download here, the jar file is there. So when we click the jar file, it could directly come here. So this jar file we just copy and paste inside that lib. So its lib is under, once we create a dynamic web project, it will come under web content and lib. So this manually you can also go through that, and you could create the jar file. Other way is there, you can directly download this complete jar file to go to the any site, and the recommended jar file is there, you can download. Other third way is there, we can create a Maven and we just point out that what exactly dependency is there, and we can utilize there. So any way is there, manually we can go one by one all the way, so we can understand the complete deep way in the JAX RS kind of thing. So here actually we are going to create a JAX RS example by Jersey implementation. So you need to load all the jar file using a Maven framework also, otherwise you can use like this as your wish, as I already explained. So in this example what we are I'm going to do that here I'm just going to create only 4 files. So I just quickly go through that things, and yeah, so I just close this thing right now. So here we have only 2 files, hello Java and client test is there. and other two file is there, web.xml and index.html. So here let's quickly close this library. So here we have web.xml and index.html. so here three file like hello.java, client test and web.xml. so both are used for the server side, and this one is index.html I'm going to utilize in application or client side. So only 4 file. This is a very first example, and we can see that how easily we can create this thing. So before going to deeply about this how to create an code walkthrough, and I will explain line by line. Before of that, few I would like to you can understand few theoretical thing also, so it could be a very easy to understand this thing. So actually here what is the exact goal of the JAX RS kind of thing? So we have means first we need to understand why the JAX RS and what exactly we are going to utilize in the JAX RS. So the JAX RS API forms an important part of the Java Enterprise platform. Before of that, we utilize I already explained in the first video, we have a EJB or a Java provided client is there, but all have some difficulty to utilize some API or some provider classes that have a dependency to container related, some dependency have they could communicate with same kind of the technology and all. So here JAX RS API forms an important part of the Java Enterprise platform, and they can commitment to providing a standard driven technology. So the unique nature internet means microservice architecture has put more focus on a small and autonomous server where they can create and deploy. The principle of methodology used to allow microservices to communicate with each other and outside the world. So REST and its development of the RESTful API. The technology that Java Enterprise Edition provided for this, that is I'm going to explain about that JAX RS. So it will we could explain like the Java API for RESTful web services, JAX RS. So Java API for RESTful web services. So actually what the goal of that JAX RS, we have to understand about the JAX RS goal also. So goal of the JAX RS API are, the thing is that we must have the POJO based. POJO based means we have to create one model classes, and like that customer object be going to handle. So we have to create a customer object. So multiple different kind of the object we have to manage, like we going to create a customer, and the customer information is there. So customer information, maybe phone is there, or his means related to address is there. So many dependency is there. Maybe customer have account there, so account detail is there. So all will be come under the model classes. So POJO based application. So what exactly benefit of the POJO based application is there? To provide a collection of the classes, interface and associate annotation to be used with POJO, so as to expose them as a web resources. So already we are using a Java application or something, so we have one architecture I already explained in the previous video. So we have to create one the design pattern, or we have to write one the structure where we have the POJO classes, data access object is there, or implementation is there, interfaces we have to implement. So first main aim is there, it must work as a POJO based application to provide a collection of the classes, interface and associate annotation to be used with the POJO, so as expose them as a web resources. The second is that HTTP centric. What is the HTTP centric is there? To use HTTP as the underlying network protocol and provide a clear mapping between HTTP and URL element and the corresponding API classes of the annotations. So mostly actually we know that JAX RS we can provide a different protocol also. So many protocol is there, like mailing protocol or file protocol or HTTPS protocol, or SOAP is also one protocol, but mainly be the 95% we will see that we are going to work in the HTTP or HTTPS protocol. So here we have the 8 methods of the HTTP. So it could be a definition of all the methods. So when we are going to delete the particular record, we must be use the delete protocol. We could do with the git also, but here the standard is there, we are going to use the delete. So easily can understand means what exactly delete API is going to do. So HTTP centric. So HTTP centric means to use HTTP as the underlying network protocol and provide a clear mapping between HTTP and URI elements and the corresponding API classes and annotation. Third thing is there, format independence. Format independence. What I mean by the format independence? Here are to be applicable to be wide variety of HTTP entity body content type and provide the necessary pluggable to allow additional type to add. Means when we are going to connect client to the server, so we know that here this type of web services we are using to communicate one application to other application or communicate to client to server. So what happen here? So we are going to send the request. So request, when we are going to send, it have some format. So that format we are saying that consume and produce. So when the API can take the request, maybe it request come by the image file, PDF file, JSON file, XML file, any different kind of the format. So here format must be a specify, and the API can handle different formatted and they can produce different format also. So format independency is there to be applicable to wide variety of HTTP entity body content type and provide a necessary pluggable to allow additional type to add. So whenever we require to generate an image file, whenever we require to generate a video file, we can do as a produce video file, as a produce image file, as a produce PDF file. We'll show you that how we can upload the file and how we can download the file, and there how the consume and produce is working. The fourth is that inclusion in Java Enterprise Edition. Here to allow the Java Enterprise features and components to be used within a web resource classes. So four main thing is there, that the goal of that Java REST JAX RS. So here I would like to explain the few overview also, that I explain about the HTTP centric and all. So what the other annotation and all thing is utilized. So mostly if you go through that, then we will see that most this annotation we can utilize in our complete application. So here overview of the JAX RS annotation is that annotation in the JAX RS API is used to provide metadata around the web resources. Typical example is to use the get annotation and the path annotation to identify the method that should handle a get request to the specific URI in the path annotations. So basically if we see that we have a very few annotations and we have some standard that we are going to utilize, like that here we have one class. So whenever we use, we have to specify some path, and path we have to specify some URL, and here after that we have to specify what exact method we are going to utilize, and we have to specify of the produce. So actually what I explain about the produce consume. So here produce type is text and plain. So all the content, it's come with the some types, like that image have some separate type, PDF have the some separate type, JSON have the some separate type, plain text have the some separate type, like HTML have some like text. XML is a separate type, HTML is a separate type, so media type is defined. According of that, REST internally can handle your request and could be produce the particular that be desired. So with follow in a very quickly overview of the annotation available to mark of the method and the classes used to the our web application or REST API. There are few more annotations in the JAX RS that we will see that after that explanation, as the majority of the work of JAX RS is configuration and handled by the web resources. This is where you will find the majority of the API annotation put to a use. So this is the first in the three part of the applications, and we are going to explain other like a RESTful application with download, upload, and I have the other example. So when I will complete all the examples, these 4 examples, you can understand almost all the at least all the annotations, and you can understand how to handle different media type, and how you can create a multiple applications, and how JAX RS is working, and why that right now it's everyone is using a web services to handle the request and communication. So once it will be complete, I complete the 4 then it's a very easy to understand the functionality. So basically here the path annotations and path param annotations. So here this is a main thing is there. I will explain about that. After that, query parameter annotation is there, and after that produce annotation, consume annotation is there, that I already explained what we going to consume, what going to produce, that media type we have to specify. After that we have a form param, matrix param, cookies param, header param, providers. So as this name also could be understand, like a cookies param can handle the cookies, header param can handle the headers, like a form param can handle the form request. So like the name is there, so we are going to utilize it. So once I explain the by code, we can understand about that what is a path param, all thing like that. Path param. Now come into the URI path resource as the lookup application. It might be something like a URL like HTTP, and here we have our local host or some IP address 10.90.240.40, and we have some port number, and after that we have our application name, app name, and after that we have to specify something like books or employee or we need customer, anything. So here this could be a come under the path. So this will be I specify @path. So here @path, here hello. So this application is there RESTful. After that we will add hello here directly. So here app name hello. So path param will be specify. After that your local host or your IP address where that particular server is running, and port number. After that our application, what is the application name, and after that what the thing we going to utilize, that will be come under the path param. So after that get is there. So here we will see that this is a get. So get HTTP method annotation, that method annotation with the get annotation response to HTTP get request. So whenever we tag this will be come under the method only. It will not come any other point, like you can put here get. It's not like that. So get will be applicable only the method level. Path will be applicable in the both place. Path could be here and could be in method level also. So what happened? Hello, and after that we will write hi. So here what happened, that what the URL we will write here like hello, after that we will write hi, and we have to send the get request. And when we will send this get request means we can directly hit this one also, correct? So directly when we will hit this one means now the service is not running, that's the reason it's showing this thing. So we can directly hit means that time it will be handled here in this method. So path could be the top before the class, path can be here also in the method level also, but get must be specified in the method level only. So get will be specify that what exactly HTTP method we are going to utilize. If you send get request on the particular URL, then this method is responsible to handle this thing. So after that post is there, that is the same thing, get what the get is doing. So again we will send the same URI request with the post, then that method annotation post responds to the post method request. The next is the put. So here what happened, the same HTTP request get, when we'll send that, we can send that HTTP put also. The at the rate put annotation is used for updating a records, and method annotation this way responds to HTTP put. So we have to clear understanding about what we are going to utilize when we utilize a post, when we utilize a put, when we utilize a get, when we utilize a delete. We have the clear knowledge about these things, then only we can utilize a REST API. So when we going to use a delete, so again at the rate delete we can utilize. So again is the HTTP method annotation, that method annotation at the rate delete are expect to delete particular resource. So whenever we send the particular resource, we can delete the particular functionality. We have write the functionality to delete that, handle that request and delete that particular resources. The next is that option. Option HTTP method annotation. Method annotations with at the rate option response to HTTP option request. That is the options also. The option method is used as a request when the client wish to make a complex HTTP request to a different domain. It is done in order to determine if the client is allowed to make the request or not. So same thing we can utilize at the rate head also. So head HTTP method annotation. So HTTP head method is identical to HTTP get method. So get and head is the similar. Expect that server must respond with a body to a response. So when we will use a get, we will get the body response, and when we will use a head, we don't have a body response. Only this thing is the different between. So when we create a response.ok.build, it will be a head. When we create a response.entity, we'll put the particular entity, then it is a get. We will explain about that, like a produce and all thing is here. So head so this is a very basic example here. What exactly I created, I just make it like old. So here what you have to do, you just have to write one of the simple classes. I wrote here the hello classes, and hello classes, before of that you just mark as the rate path. So this is a path is the type of JAX RS path. So path must be the top of the class. First path you have to specify. How the URL is working, I could explain after that this class when we'll go to the XML explanation. So now just understand that when we writing any web services client, we have to mark as the first thing @ path, and we have to specify anything, any URL, that URL we want to send by that client or the any way, different way, and you want to hit this particular method, and particular method will be response. So all this URL, when the hello will be hit, this class is responsible to handle the request. So inside that you can write a multiple method. According of that you can specify like a get, and different type of URL will come, you can handle like a produce, or otherwise you can write here get, post, put, and after that hello, if get will become, this method will be response, put, this method will be response, we will write a put instead of get. The third thing is there also, if this method hello, after that we want hello 1 2 3 like that, something like @path, and here we want if we send after hello, if we send employee related thing, then handle by this one, and if we send here like @path, if we want handle customer related thing, then it could be handle here. So we can write a path also. So after this first hello, means after that URL pattern, if we put hello, then this class is able to handle your request. So after next URL you have to specify what exactly you have to do. So you can specify by the different method type. So when you send the request like a URL plus hello, after that something, then you have to specify at the path again on the top of this method. If you want to handle the different request, like when you send this request with the different produce or consume type of thing, then you have to specify this produce or consume kind of thing also. Our third way is there, if you want also this path, after that just think about that, after get we have to write here put, or we want this method can handle post, then we can write this way also. So many ways there, specifying your method. After that this class level path, you can determine, you can split different method in different way to handle it. So I make it previous way what exactly we have before of that. Okay, so now all that get, post, produce and media type, all are the type of JAX RS. So now just stop this server, we have to run again. Now leave about this one. So the next thing is there, web.xml. So web.xml, whenever we create any dynamic web project, automatically web.xml will create under the web.inf inside that web.xml. So here what exactly you have to do, here we have to specify servlet name. So servlet name is a Jersey REST service, anything, any name you have to put. If you know the servlet name map with here this servlet and servlet mapping. So servlet mapping is here. So we have to specify any string inside that name that must be matched with this servlet name. So we have to specify, I wrote here Jersey REST services, and after that service class, when we are going to use a Jersey REST services, we have to specify org.glassfish Jersey servlet container. So this container is a handle our request, and it could identify where the exactly controller is working, and it could forward that request to the particular controllers. So after that init param we can specify. So init param is there, so it will be a specify where exactly our client is there. So now our client is com.visualpath is there. So I wrote com.visualpath the rest. So init param we have to write Jersey config server provider package. So we don't need to specify anything is there. When we run this application, it automatically find this REST client because it's here, and hello, it will be deploy and it will be make ready to use. So after that, load and startup tag is there. So what happening load and startup when you are putting under the servlet? So it is a one kind of aggressive loading. So whenever the container is started, whenever the server is started, whenever the Tomcat is started, it will be automatically load this class, because we are putting a load on startup. It will not load then whenever we hit this URL. When the application will be hit, that time this servlet container will be a load. So because the servlet container is main thing and it could be handle all the requests, so because of that only we are going to use load and startup, because once the application will deploy and it is a run under the Tomcat, it will be ready to handle any kind of the request. So in it forum we have to specify this thing. So after that we have servlet mapping. We know that after servlet name, here servlet name, servlet class, under the servlet we have to specify servlet mapping. So servlet mapping, after servlet name must be the same as here what the servlet name we will wrote. According of that only it will be map. So after that we have to specify URL pattern. So here URL pattern we have to specify. So I wrote here rest/star. So whenever like that we are going to run under the localhost 8080 port. So like this, like when HTTP localhost 8080 / rest and anything. After that any request will come, then it will be a handled by this REST Jersey services. That servlet name is this one. So it will be again find where the servlet name. So servlet name it will be find this matching thing is here. So it will be a send this request to this servlet container. So now the servlet container is used as a front controller. So it could be handle all the request, and according of the request it could forward the particular classes. So how the request will be come here, like that we wrote rest, and after that we'll see here in the hello we wrote hello here. So after that we see here if star, if we write hello. So what the container is doing, they are it's small. So hello. Now what the container is doing here, so after that request container, if we send this request as a with after rest hello, so container will take hello and it could find in this package Jersey provider. This package will be find com.visualpath.rest. So this container will be come in this package and check where the hello path is specified. So you could find a path hello here. So it will be forward this request into this controller. Now this controller, if request come this controller, then this controller can handle the request. If get request is come, then it will be handled. Now I add all the three get request only for understanding by explaining about this. The next application we can utilize all the get, post, port, delete like kind of thing. Now I just added because I don't want to make a more complicated here. You just understand about the life cycle of that API, how that API is working, or how the flow of API is working, and how that WSRS can handle the request. So now I am here. So servlet container will be understand that our controller is running com.visualpath.rest by Jersey config server provider under init param. So after that it will be come here and it have a hello, so it can found path hello and it will be forward the request here. So here we have all the get and all. So we will write after that what we will do, we will have to write a get, and here we have to write a produce or consume. We can write a without produce consume also. we'll see this. I will show you that after this example. I will show you that without produce consumer. I will modify this thing itself and we will show you that. So now we will get here produce is there. So produce, after that media type we have to many producer kind of thing is there. So what exactly you going to return back, that is a produce. What going to take as a request, that is a consume. And what you going to take as a response, return as a response, it will be a produce. So produce type is like a XML, many type of media type is there, form type is there, JSON file type is there. So many format is there. You have to just go through that one by one and can understand what the type is there. And through that we can handle any kind of the media applications, like maybe the sound, maybe the audio, video contents, image contents, PDF, XML, JSON, any kind of content we can handle through that particular media type. So now this is a text plain, means we are just going to send hello visual path here. So now here we are going to produce media type dot text. Here we are going to produce as a XML. So this is a XML version and we are going to produce this one. So now if we hit this application, we are going to produce as a text HTML. So now we have the HTML as a producer. So three different kind of the request, one request, three different method is there. They can produce either the plain, either the XML, either the annotations. So it could be handled. So other thing here, the web app.xml I already explained. So you no need to do anything. We just have to run this application. So now I just explained about that. JAX.rs we are going to use and get path, produce and media type. 4 annotation be utilized. Path, get, produce, get, produce, get, produce. Media type, text HTML, text XML, text plain. And one more thing I just using here, the very simple thing, ahref, we just sending a REST hello and click here. So when we click, it will be forward, means HTTP localhost 8080 REST and hello. So REST, up to the REST it already provided here. So after REST anything will be it will be come to this servlet container, and servlet container after that found that what the thing is hello and what hi we are sending. So according of that it will find that controller and it will forward that controller there. So it will controller come to the hello and hello it's here, and according of that it will be produce hello visual path plain. So now we just run this application, we could understand. So running, we have, I'm going to run in the Tomcat. So you just have to download on the Tomcat, and once you download the Tomcat, you can run your application, run as on server. What thing is there? Yeah, save. So I have the local host as I am using a Tomcat 7.0. so you just add Tomcat 7.0 or any version that your choice, and here RESTful application is there. So we have to run this application. I will put it here. This console also will move here, understanding better. Okay, so now HTTP 8080 port is started, and it took 8774 milliseconds to start the server. So now what we wrote here, click here. So once we click here, it will be forward localhost 8080 and REST hello, that is a ahref. We see that what happening. Click here. So hello visual path HTML thing is coming, because we are sending here in the HTML format, so we are getting the HTML. We'll see that how we can get other format also, like a text, XML and all kind of thing. So we'll see that here HTTP, that URL, http localhost 8080 rest, yeah, restful, yeah, I missed here. So this is our application name. So after application name, yeah, application name, so after rest and hello. So here up to that it's a clear localhost or IP address, port number, this is application name, and we have to specify this thing under the web.xml, and after that anything will come can be handle the servlet container, and after that what the thing is there, it will be find under the path, and that will be provided under the that will be it's responsible by servlet controller itself to identify the particular controller. So here we can get this HTML. Now the question is there, we have a multiple get here, that could be a generate plain text, that could be a generate XML text, that could be a generate HTML text, but now we are getting this media type is HTML because we run here directly in the browser, and browser can understand the HTML format, so we are getting the comfortable format. So because of that we are saying that REST is a very smart, they can understand what exact format we are required. The now question is that how we can get other formats, like 3 format is there. So here what we will do, we will just write one simple main classes, and we'll create a client configure, that is a class client configure org glassfish jersey client configure, that object we will create, and after that client builder dot new client, and we will pass as a config here. So what config we will create, we will pass here as a config, and here we will create web target client dot target client test dot get base URL. We can directly pass here directly URI dot builder also, or you can do that private static method, through that you can create this one. So URI builder dot form URI, and you have to pass this URL and we have to build. Okay, so here after that we have to specify here target dot path. So after that this target like restful, after that it will be rest, means it could be a like create like rest here, rest, and after that dot path again, then hello. So after again we have to create a path something, when again we wrote here dot something path again. So we can specify, we can make like that multiple time. So now it is pointing up to restful. So here this rest means come as a rest, and this hello as a come hello. So it will be hit our application, we know we are going to hit there up to rest and after hello. So we can already created up to restful, rest and hello. So here request, and here we have to specify accept media type dot text. So we are going to accept media type dot text, and here we are just get string dot class, string dot class. So here the first request can be hit the plain text method, yeah. So first request we need plain text, second request we need XML, third we need HTML. So we see that hello we have 3 method, one method they can XML plain, they have text XML, they have HTML. So when we will hit with the plain, that we will get this hello visual path like that. When we will hit this text, we will get hello visual path with XML. So XML we will find out as a XML here. So when hit as a HTML format, then we have a here we have a hello visual path as HTML. We will see in the console because we are printing here in console. So just clear the console message. Through that we can understand, our understanding will clear we are getting or not. Yes, so we hit this application and we'll got it. So we'll see here, maybe that so first hello visual path as a plain. So visual path as a plain we can get, and here we have the XML, so we'll get hello visual path as a XML. Now here we third request we sent as a visual path HTML, so we can get the HTML. So we have to specify that means we can separate that our method itself in what the target we are going to explain. So multiple same kind of the get method is there, and according of that we can produce different kind of the content. So according of the request, the particular method will be respond, and we will come on the handle of the particular request and generate a response. As well as different kind of the request, like get request is there, post request is there, put request is there, can be handled by the different method. As well as consume, produce, or we have to specify the path. So once we specify the path here also, like that we have the get here. So after that we try if path 1 is here, like so it could be handle this. So after that hello, when we'll set /1, this method is responsible. So as our requirement, we can split our method according of that. Now I will explain one more time, it will be clear. And so when you are going to create this RESTful web services, you just create one web dynamic project directly, like that. I already created one project, I think RESTful Java test, just for test. Yeah, we created a just for test here. Before of that, you just have to right click and you have to create a new dynamic web project. You just create this dynamic web project. After that you will create a dynamic web project. You have complete this kind of the structure you will find. So when you will click here web content, you will find like that. So inside the library you have to put all the jar file. You just search the Google JAX RS jar file, you can find many places is there we can find all the jar file. So what inside the jar file is available, like that you can find this all the jar files. You can place here. If you're not able to find, you can contact Visual Path also, they can provide this jar file. So you have to put all the jar file here, means you can directly copy and you can put here. Where you download it, you just copy and you can directly paste under the library. So you will see that this kind of thing. So after that web.inf you have to create here. You have to create a web.inf file under the web.inf. So here web.inf, when you will run create, it will be automatically web.inf will be created. Actually I created this 3.0, that's reason web.inf not found. So when you create a less than 3.0 you will get the web.inf, because 3.0 servlet using an annotation, and annotation version is not recommended to use web.xml. So file new dynamic web project, here by default 3 will become, so just click 3.5 and any name. Just create a test2. So here we'll see that web.xml automatically created. Web.xml already there. So you no need to do this thing and all. So inside that web.xml you have to write this servlet tag under a servlet name. Any name you have to specify, any string that must be matched under the servlet mapping, servlet name, and here what the string is there. So we have to add this classes, servlet container classes, org, glassfish, jersey, servlet container classes. So here init param we have to specify that param name, and that packages must be a jersey config server provider packages. So we are going to utilize that particular packages, and we have to specify here the package where our client is available. So now our client is available under the com.visualpath.rest hello client. So the same thing you just copy here, function f2 or f2 here, and paste here com.visualpath.rest. So param value is there. So after that init param done, so we have to add load on startup. Load on startup we are adding because we would like to aggressively load that servlet container class. So we will not use load on startup. Then when the first request will be come on this servlet, that time this class will be load. So maybe it will be a late because this is the first point of the context. So we don't want to make a request as a late. We want when we deploy our application will be ready to handle any kind of the request. So here the jersey REST service is there. So REST, this URL pattern means when we hit localhost particular port REST, and this star means after that anything we can handle, it will be go to this string, and this string will find the servlet name that will map with this string, and here after that it will be send this request to servlet class, that is a servlet container, and servlet container is used as a front controller here. So they can handle the multiple requests, and it could find out after that what the request you will send, you can find out the particular container. So now we are going to send as a hello. So hello, it will be find out here under this package. We'll see that hello is there. So it will be send request to this container, a controller classes. So this controller classes have the get method only. So when we'll send this get request, it could be handle. So after that we will specify this container. We are expecting plain text. Then this method will be execute. If we specify into the particular controller that we expected text XML, then this method will be execute, and we specify this container as a we are expecting text HTML, then this method will be execute. So we have to write this classes like that. We have to start here @path, and we have to specify under this double quote, and we have to specify as a slash. So whatever there we wrote after that slash hello will be specified. So if we add path also here, we can utilize here. Otherwise we can use the method HTTP type as a HTTP get, and after produce, and after that very simple method like a public what the return type is there, and method name. So same thing is here, a string we are going to return, So this thing is there. So this is the REST application, complete REST application. But here as a client we are going to utilize. So here we can use client configure. We can configure as a client. We have to pass this config object, and web target we have to build this URL. We have to write this kind of thing, and after that hello request, and we are specify here we are expecting plain text XML or HTML. So according of that we just run as a Java application here. After running, once you run this application, run as a application, on server, Tomcat server, here you have to run this one as a Java application. So we will get this application. Even we can hit this anywhere. and we can get the particular request. Hello visual path, we can get this request as a HTML. So we'll put here hello visual path as a title also, so we see that it will be coming as a hello visual path there. So now I am thinking this is a very clear, very easy to understand, and this application is means it not have a multiple, it's not that much critical. You can easily understand this functionality and just go through that files. Only one files is there, very only 33 lines is there, so you no need to understand much more this functionality. Only you have to understand about this servlet container, how this is a handle, and how we will write a servlet class init from or servlet mapping here, and how the URL request is working. So it will be handled by the servlet container. So servlet container will be a forward the request to the controller classes. That controller classes can take the request according to the @ path, and it will be forward according of that what the request we are coming. So according this all method can be a written this functionality. So this is a very easy application. You just start this application, we can go through that next application and we will see that how the other functionality are working. So I just close this application. I will show you that I will run one more time. Through that you can not have any problem. So once that application is ready, you have to right click and run with Tomcat server, and here already my Tomcat server is there. If not there, you have to manually specify that Tomcat 7 or something, and you can choose your existing server. So here I have a RESTful application and I have to finish. So once it will be done, it will be pressing the update. It will be take some time. We can close this thing, not required. Yeah, so it could be forwarded to index.html because here index.html is there. Now we have index.html, we wrote this URL, so we just click and we can find this XML. Now we are getting this XML version. Previously we get as a HTML, so it's a different. Here we are getting HTML. So now we have to find out different kind of the expectation. So like a plain XML or HTML. So we have to run these classes. I already explained these classes. Just right click and run as a Java application. Here we have public static void main, no need to run as a client. Already client is running under this service. Tomcat 8080 already port is running. So here we just have to send this request. So for sending this request, we are running as a Java applications. So we'll send as a Java application. So we'll get that request. The plain text we get as a hello visual path plain text. For the second request, we would like XML, so we'll get hello visual path as a XML. The third request we are getting hello visual path, so we are getting as a hello visual path as a HTML. So just go through that. The next video I would explain about that. Very simple thing is there: file, download, file, update, and after that we have a create, update, delete, and kind of thing. Operation is here, so I will explain about this thing. once this 3 application will be completed, you can understand, you have a better understanding about JAX RS, and after that we will move into the JAX WS SOAP kind of thing, and I will explain about this thing after this video. So now thanks for watching this video. I will come with the next video.